Hi, we are Eric and Kim. This is our first channel together, and we're going to talk about Gematria.
So, what is Gematria?
In Hermeticism, which is old world knowledge that predates the Bible, Hermeticism has 7 principles. One of them is the principle of vibration, which says that everything in this world, every shape, color, symbol, and number carries a vibration. And that vibration has an influence on our behavior.
Vibration is something we can all understand. In our current construct where we live in the world, we kind of instinctively know that we come across people sometimes and you might say to yourself, I don't know what it is, but there's something about you, I just don't vibe with you. Or a specific instance that you might be in, you're like, that just doesn't vibe right with me. We say it all the time, doesn't vibe, doesn't vibe, doesn't vibe. That does vibe. And so we understand vibration. But what we're gonna try to do is that we're gonna try to take this idea of Hermeticism and break it down to a practical sense so that you can understand how numbers equal the vibration. And if you can understand that numbers equal the vibration, then it might help you to be able to look at your world around you and match it up so that give you a better opportunity to be in a place where you can vibrate correctly.
Right, that was well said.
Thanks.
It's kind of almost like a radio, right? Where you're dialing in different frequencies to find the station that speaks to you. Somebody might like country music, but it totally doesn't vibe right with the heavy metal dude. It's vibration. Well, one thing, it's actually sound vibration that can be measured with microphones and oscilloscopes and all the other kind of things. But Gematria is the frequency of words and phrases and sentences. And when you say certain words a certain way, you can kind of manipulate the situation, right? You choose certain words that might get a different emotional effect. And some people are really good at it. I'd say lawyers are excellent at it, right? That's their job.
For sure.
The speech writers for politicians, they're also experts, right? They're trying to sway an entire world of people listening to it, so.
Well, that's if they have a really good person reading their speeches.
Right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Right. So Gematria is kind of measuring those frequencies and looking at the connection between 2 different words or 3 different words or a phrase and finding some interesting insights about that. You can detect a connection made between 2 things that no one knew there was a connection. You can detect a lie. Another thing about Gematria, it's like fact-based. There's no opinion here. This isn't a religion. It's not a cult. It's just mathematics and a bit of geometry and some numerology as well, computing dates, times, even locations like coordinates. You can go as deep as you want to, but we're gonna basically start off this episode with, what is Gematria? Just on a base level. How can you get into it? What are some of the basic connections you can find with it? So.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's jump in.
Dive in. So first, let's talk about what the word is. It comes from Hebrew, which means pairing. It is a pairing of words and numbers. The Wikipedia says, Gematria is the practice of assigning a numerical value to a name, word, or phrase according to an alphanumeric cipher. There's another definition saying that geometry of language, which I like that one too.
Yeah.
They're all correct. Gematria comes from Jewish mysticism, which is an ancient science. This was knowledge that people kind of wanted to hoard, I guess, because it was very valuable and it was kind of like, it shows you the inner workings of life and the universe. So, of course, you probably want to maybe keep that to yourself.
What we're actually trying to do is to bring this knowledge, which has been amongst a very small group of people for a very long time, and try to bring it into mainstream. We want to do our part for that because we feel like this is important. And just sort of hearing the name Gematria and just going, what do you mean? Like it's letters and numbers. I don't get it. This is super weird. Well, just hang with us because we're going to break this down.
Originally, every single letter in the Hebrew alphabet was assigned a number. I guess that was common knowledge back then. But now what we're doing is we're assigning numbers to the English alphabet in different ways. It's a pairing, right? You have to have the letter and the number. That's the secret. You know, and when you're in kindergarten and you learn the ABC song, you don't learn the numbers, but you know the order. So you memorize the song, A, B, C, D. So you now know that A is the first letter, B is the second letter, all the way to Z is the 26th letter. You've learned the first cipher. By age, I don't know, 5, you now kind of know Gematria.
You already know Gematria. Congratulations. We're done. A, B, C, E is 1, 2, 3.
We also have a couple other base ciphers. One that is actually based on numerology. And numerology says that you try to always take a number and reduce it down to the lowest number that you can. So like if you have the number 17, you just say 1 plus 7 equals 8. And now the 17 becomes an 8. Same with 3 and 2. That would be a 5 instead of the number 32. And that in turn is a cipher, and we call it full reduction, or you can call it Pythagorean cipher. And then of course there's the basic backwards. If you sing the ABC song in reverse, A equals 26, B equals 25, C equals 24, all the way to Z equals 1. And the fourth base cipher that we like to use is also a reverse one, just like the one I just mentioned, but it uses numerology as well. So we can call that the reverse full reduction. The value of having these 4 is that you can see connections between the forward and the reverse, and different connections can be drawn. You can certainly only just use the first one, but you'll only be getting part of the picture. It's like learning a new language, but only learning the nouns, and you have no idea there were verbs. One day you'll learn that there's verbs and go, I can understand so much more about the conversations I'm listening to. Same thing with Gematria. Once you learn these other ciphers, you'll just have a way fuller picture, and you'll go, whoa, okay, now I get it.
So let's bring this back to basics. Why would this be important to you, and how can you use this practically in your daily life? We want to kind of help you to be able to see how this could practically fit into your life and why this could help you work. This is all about vibration. I mean, and wanting to create your best vibration. You know, some of us are very fortunate enough to, you know, be very good with intuition, and you can feel your vibration. Everybody can feel vibration to some degree, some people more so than others. But this will just kind of give you an extra oomph that you can look at. You know, you may want to code up your boss. Maybe you and your boss don't get along, and you see that, whoa, we're way on opposite ends of our vibration, and there's a practical use for you. You can use Gematria to protect yourself. I mean, and as we go forward and you start seeing, you know, sort of what's going on, you'll see why.
It's less about trying to predict the future and more about finding higher probabilities of things occurring. What you want to do to make this a practical tool is to avoid high probability of danger, of things that you don't want to attract or to happen around you. You can use it the way that, you know, big record execs and movie producers use it, and you can use it for success. You can use it to ensure the right kind of connections and vibrations are being connected.
Don't bring judgment into things, because once you bring judgment into things, then you're setting a low vibration. If you don't vibrate with that, get out of there. You know, if you do vibrate with that, hang around there.
Yeah, and let's talk about some resources real quick. Our favorite tool to calculate the Gematria is Gematrinator. Gematrinator.com has an excellent calculator. As default, when you type a word in, you get the 4 base ciphers. There's a whole tool set in here, and there's date duration, so you can look up, you know, how many days or months between this day and this day, and that's very useful when you're decoding as well.
And once you have that, then in our next video, we're gonna go into how you can kind of break this down to sort of decode, and we're gonna give you some examples. Like, we've found over the course of time that there are some things that have happened with us that were coded and we never even knew it, you know, and so we're gonna give some examples of that. We're gonna talk a little bit about our wedding, and yes, we may show some wedding pictures. They were awesome. We got married in Vegas, which was super amazing, and kind of talk about how that coding went. This is before we ever knew anything about Gematria, and we go back and we realize that, whoa, this was coded up crazily, and it was amazing. So, you know, and sort of give you an idea of sort of how you can use this practically when you're coding up. You might want to code your vacation. You might want to code, a job interview. You might want to code all sorts of different things that we can use this for, but that is it. This is the channel, Practical Gematria. We want Gematria to be practical for you.
Yes.
But we want to know what you guys think. I mean, is this something, have you encountered Gematria? Are you already someone who's learning Gematria? What do you think of it? Do you feel like that there's definitely some connections being made? What happened when you calculated your names? I mean, have you found that you and your spouse have some numbers in common? What have you found? Because, at the same time that we're learning, we want to learn from you. So, comment, and if this is material that you want to continue hearing about, then, like and subscribe, and, we look forward to the next video.
See you then.